Matthew 2, 9 through 11. After listening to the king, they went on their way, and behold, the star that they had seen when it rose went before them until it came to rest over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. And going into the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. Then opening their treasures, they offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh.
Okay, so we finally arrived to these wise men. What do we do with them? See, they're a little bit tricky because the narrative between Matthew and Luke can seemingly contradict in places. First of all, Luke doesn't really make mention of these wise men that are coming from the east. Matthew does, and what's a little bit more troubling is the timeline through which they come and when that exactly happens. In Matthew, we can read about Joseph and Mary fleeing to Egypt. We don't get to see that glimpse in Luke. In Luke, we finish this kind of Christmassy narrative with these words from Luke 2, 39 through 40, when they performed everything according to the law of the Lord. This is after Simeon and Anna. They returned into Galilee to their own town of Nazareth, and the child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. So one thing we can know, these wise men were not present at the stable. One, Herod, called for every child, every boy, 2 years old and younger, to be killed in an effort to take control and to eliminate any power threat that might come from this child who is being deemed the Messiah. So Jesus was older than this infant, and it would be hard to believe that Mary and Joseph stayed at this stable for any long period of time, especially because we know they were at the temple in Jerusalem 40 days after the birth of Jesus. And so we know that they moved. They fled to Egypt, they went to Jerusalem, they went to different places. So the wise men, contrary to many of your nativity scenes, are not at that stable. So there's that. It's okay though, right? We just make a little course correction. I will say it is important to remain accurate with our reading of the biblical narrative, because if we're willing to make a slight adjustment here and there, then where does it stop? We've got to come to a little bit of a reckoning there. So, did they come to Bethlehem? That's a question. King Herod told them to go to Bethlehem, but this wouldn't be the first time, if they didn't go to Bethlehem, that they disobeyed him, that they did their own thing instead. And knowing what their intent was, they're following this star. I think they might prefer following the star over King Herod's commands. They're more interested in finding what this star is leading to than being obedient to the king. And so, did they go to Bethlehem to find the child? I don't know. Or did they go to Nazareth to find the child later, after the purification? There's lots of different theories out there. So, scholars will read it either way on the location. One thing we can know, they were not there with the shepherds and the rest of the clan. So when you set up your nativity scene next year, just keep those wise men off in the distance for a while, and you'll be a little bit more biblically accurate. Then when we get toward Epiphany, which is tomorrow, you can move them closer to Mary and Joseph. And if you had a little more of a 1 to 2 year old size Jesus instead of the baby Jesus in the manger, that'd be even more accurate. Because they came to a house, according to the Gospel of Matthew. Going into the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother, and they fell down and worshipped him. They opened their treasures. They offered him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. So there's all that debate over where the wise men were when they saw Jesus. How old was Jesus? Where did they go? But here's what's important. These gentlemen are not from the same lineage as these Jews who are receiving the Messiah. This kingdom break-in, this God with us coming into our presence, is already broader than just for the Jews. These wise men came from the east, and they found it necessary to bring their greatest gifts to this little baby, to this 1-year-old, 18-month-old, up to 2-year-old. They found it necessary to offer these things to him, because even outside of the Jewish realm, Jesus is worthy of all glory and honor and praise. Now that's worth remembering. We may not know where the wise men went to see Jesus. We may not know what or when they went there to see Jesus. We know it's after he was born, out in the stable. But what we can know is that they knew there was something special about this Messiah. There was something special about this baby. Even though he was powerless and as an infant didn't have much going for him, they needed to bring these great offerings to him. That's something worth noting. And as we make this shift into Epiphany, we make the shift from here is God with us. Now let's realize what God present with us truly means. So there you have it. We finally got to the wise men. Cool, huh? I hope you enjoyed these 12 days of Christmas devotionals. We'll see if we do it again. Have a good day.